time is running out. Donald Trump has been in office for coming up on 1 year, and Pam Bondi has been the Attorney General for about 324 days. And we have seen some actions taken by the Attorney General's office. But the time is running out on a really important case that should definitely be looked at before, I don't know what you want to call it, the statute of limitations. Let's call it that. And that is this, the January 6th committee criminals. People would call them criminals. I'm going to call them alleged. But what is happening? This is Gunther Engelman. I follow him a lot on X. Love what he says about 99% of the time. Now, to lay this at the feet of Pam Bondi is very easy. It is very easy to put it at her feet. And you can see this, this mug shot of the Munsters is what I would like to call these people. Adam Kinzinger, Jamie Ratskin, there's Liz Cheney, a handful of others. And the time is running out on this because it's December 27th. January 6th is right around the corner. The new year, the January 30th government shutdown is probably going to happen because I believe the Democrat Party, I believe many members of Congress and the Senate and the Democrat side would love nothing more than to shut down America and make Americans suffer while Donald Trump's administration comes to a standstill. That's up to you to decide. I'd love your comment down below if you think that's what's going to happen. But I do believe that's what's going to happen. And I will say part of this comes down to a couple of members of Congress that have been underwhelmingly disappointing. And I will say one of them is James Comer. And this clip comes from October the 27th. And it popped up on my timeline because it's very relevant as to how successful Donald Trump's cabinet is going to be, how it's going to be remembered, how the Attorney General's office is going to be remembered, how we judge them, because many of you want actions now. And here's the wild part. Comer, Jordan, and all these other laundry list of Congress, members of Congress, could subpoena them. Thomas Massey, Rand Paul. Where's the Rand Paul subpoenas and charges for lying to Congress, for perjury, for Anthony Fauci? We haven't seen that.
Yes, and I think that the DOJ needs to take this and run. John, we've handed this to Pam Bondi on a silver platter.
Yep,
we've done all the heavy lifting. We've done the depositions. We've combed through the emails. I mean, this is the hard, tedious work of an investigation. Now it's up to her to bring these people in. If there's anything in the report that's inaccurate, if there's anything in the deposition that we reported that are mischaracterized, now here's your opportunity to try to defend the other position. If not, then the report is 100% accurate and the pardons need to be declared null and void immediately. I would go further, but now this is me, and I would hold some of these people accountable for misrepresenting the president's health. And
I think it's interesting to hear James Comer say that he would go further and hold some people accountable. He could not even get Bill and Hillary Clinton to testify under oath with subpoenas. So for him to blame shift onto Pam, and I'm not saying Pam is innocent in this. I'm not saying that she has been inept. I'm not saying she's not taken the actions or shown us what we all want to see. And what we want to see is real accountability. And we haven't seen that, but Comer's done nothing except send strongly worded emails. For the past, I don't know, I bet his computer's broken. The keyboard's worn out for how many emails he sent.
For abusing their power as a bureaucrat in the White House that was essentially forging the president's name on pardons. I mean, you could ask a lot of questions. I know some of the people that were pardoned from Kentucky, these are wealthy Democrat donors. We heard from Jeff Zients that Hunter Biden was in the room where the decision making was taking place on the pardon. Look, I don't think we need to say any more on this show about Hunter Biden being in the room with pardons when people have the potential to maybe be.
He is the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. Now, that title sounds amazing. It would be more amazing if he actually used the title for what we would expect. But I want to see real accountability coming into 2026. We're 4 days away. I want to see Congress pass voter ID. I want to see the Senate nuke the filibuster and get this things going because we have 3 years left. And I believe the Democrats are going to try to run out the clock. I'll tell you what surprised me that came out in the news today. And this was out of nowhere. And it's connected somewhat to all of the fraud in Minnesota that Nick Shirley uncovered. I did a video about that. Go check it out. But California, it seems like people in California are really starting to demand answers for the Palisades fires. And now you have illegal aliens suing the state of California. I said that. Illegal aliens suing the state of California because their CDL license were revoked. I don't know how to explain this, but it's happening. And California is another planet. Let's go to the Palisades fire real quick. This is important. You need to see it.
Alarming investigation by the LA Times exposes a litany of deletions and revisions in the LA Fire Department's report on the city's response to the deadly fires earlier this year. The blaze, of course, wiped out nearly all of LA's most desirable real estate, and Palisades residents are still waiting to learn how and why this fire grew out of control. Let's bring in California Republican gubernatorial candidate Steve Hilton. Great to see you this morning, Steve. This is such a maddening story, and this report from the LA Times is not totally unexpected, but even more maddening. You have a situation where you clearly had not only the massive failures by the city government, but now you have this effort within the city government to cover up the mistakes that they made, among those including efforts to whitewash the fact that the city failed to pre-deploy firefighters to areas they knew were going to be problematic. On the days of the fires, you had crews waiting around to go out to combat fires without assignments, sometimes for hours.
Look at this. This is a cover-up by the city of Los Angeles. Admission of the decision to not fully staff and deploy. Admission that crews waited an hour plus for an assignment on the day of the fire. California's got problems. New York City's probably going to run into the same thing with the appointment that Zohran Mamdani just made, a DEI hire. We don't want to talk about that too much. YouTube doesn't like it. But here we've got California getting sued now by illegal aliens.
California is facing a new class action lawsuit accused of canceling tens of thousands of commercial driver's licenses issued to migrants across the state. The California DMV is set to pull back nearly 20,000 licenses in the new year, claiming they were issued with invalid expiration dates that don't match up with many migrant drivers' lawful work authorization periods, meaning they don't think they should be having them to begin with. And all this crackdown here comes after some headlines you might remember, like this one: the illegal migrant truck driver causing a crash on a Southern California freeway back in October, killing 3 people and injuring 4 more. But the new lawsuit is pushing back, saying that the state is required to allow drivers to contest this cancellation and apply for legitimate licenses.
Should this even be a court case? Should illegal migrants be allowed to sue the state? Now, California is complicit in this because they allowed it to happen. Gavin Newsom allowed it to happen. Another failure under his watch. The Palisades fire, a failure under his watch. The $76 billion in money that you cannot find under his watch, used supposedly for homeless people. California has problems. It is turning into the I don't even want to say it. It's turning into the fraudulent states of America. Something has to be done. And I think a lot of this needs to be put at the feet of the Attorney General's office. She needs to really get after it. These states are not going to regulate themselves. Tim Walz is probably not going to get convicted of anything. Gavin Newsom will probably not be held accountable for anything. And all of this fraudulent crap that's going on, it's good to know about it. It really is. It gets my blood pressure up. But I'm starting to just come to the fact that knowing about it is about all that's going to happen. Because I'm not sure if we're going to see any real action. If you think we are, I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. Leave a comment down below. I don't know how much longer that we can continue to ignore this, or how much longer the Attorney General's office cannot be held accountable to the taxpayer. Can we replace Pam Bondi and go anywhere from there? Or is this just something we're going to have to live with? That's for you to answer, and I read all the comments, so leave one down below. Let me know what you think. But at this point, until I see something really happen, I'm going to continue to doubt everything right now. Doubt and question everything. Trump, you are fighting an uphill battle. There are very few people in your cabinet that I believe you can trust. The ones that you can trust, hold them close, and the ones you can't, get rid of them. I'll see you in the next one.